Aitx stock plans to uplist to a higher exchange in 2026. Aitx stock is also uplisting very soon, and we have some important news that is very relevant to any penny stock that plans to uplist in the future. Let's go over why this is important. Penny stocks will have a harder time to stay listed after reverse split. Nasdaq proposed a rule change that will cause delisting of a stock that falls below $1 within a year from reverse split. Essentially, to regain compliance, a stock will need to stay above $1 for a year instead of 10 days following a reverse split. This will affect a plethora of stocks, penny stocks. If your stock underwent a recent reverse split, keep an eye on this when this rule becomes effective. And here is the article, the Reuters article. So it's a reliable source talking about Reuters, not so much Reddit and their opinions. But this should pass and be implemented ASAP so noobs can stop getting their money took by scam dilution stocks, making their lender and board more wealthy, believing they will get rich with their 3K gamble. Oh yeah, I know, yeah, he's not lying. So a bunch of companies will just up their reverse split ratios. There is a limit on the minimum number of shares, imposing a limit on how far you can jack up the ratio. Yeah, you can always issue more shares before reverse split, but that will push the price down even more, requiring an even bigger ratio for the reverse split, by the way, just to be clear. An endless loop, but I agree, the ratios will be much higher, going all the way to the share number constraint. Maybe they should disallow reverse splits to begin with. Then companies will be more reluctant to dilute in the first place. Also, maybe they also need stricter rules on dilution slash new shares. Be it that as it may, be it that as it may be, what it seems like now is that when a company starts doing dilution and consequently reverse splits, it's usually never good in the long run for retail investors. This is a great idea. Investors getting scammed left and right, and by the cycle of dilution and reverse splits. Mullen's a great example of that. So again, this is their opinions, but it is true. It is true. There's a lot of people holding a lot. I'm not just talking about Aitx, but there are a lot of people holding giant bags in penny stocks since that huge bull run back in 2020 and 2021. So this is going to affect penny stocks because if Aitx uplist, when it does uplist, I'm not going to say if, when it uplists, a lot of people have this crazy idea that, oh, it's going to uplist and it's going to go to the moon, but the reality is a lot of penny stocks, they uplist and they don't really move much of anywhere. Number two, the worst thing that can happen is the stock goes down under $1. But now the problem is Nasdaq requires companies listed on its exchanges to maintain a closing price above $1. Companies that fail to meet this criterion for 30 consecutive trading days are deemed to be non-compliant with the listing standards and are given 180 days to regain compliance. Penny stocks typically sell for less than $1 a share. If the company's stock price doesn't climb above $1, they can request an extension. At the end of the second compliance period, companies whose stock remains under $1 currently have the option of appealing to Nasdaq's hearing panel, which puts the delisting process on pause until a hearing. So they just keep extending, essentially elongating the date at which they're going to get delisted. That's really what it comes down to. But that's going to change now. However, the proposed changes could speed up the process of delisting non-compliant companies. Again, if Aitx goes up to the higher exchange and then comes under $1 and it stays under $1 and doesn't meet compliance, it will be delisted. So and it's going to happen much faster compared to right now with current rules. So that's why I'm saying it's going to affect penny stocks greatly. If the amendments go through, Nasdaq will suspend companies from trading on its exchanges if their share price has been below $1 on the completion of 360 days, pretty much a whole year, effectively doing away, getting hit with an ad, effectively doing away with the option to appeal. It also, here's the most important one, it also seeks to immediately send a delisting determination to any company whose share price has fallen below $1 if it has affected a reverse stock split within the prior 1 year period. Nasdaq believes that such behavior is often indicative of deep financial or operational distress within such companies, rendering them inappropriate for trading on Nasdaq for investor protection reasons. And that is true. Uh, whether you guys want to admit it or not, uh, their negative net working capital, it's negative what, 25 million for AITX. They're constantly having to dilute. Let's not pretend like that's not true. They're constantly having to dilute and raise money just to keep going. And I mean, that's who they're talking about, and they're doing, if this rule goes into effect, this is for investor protection reasons. Because just because it uplifts doesn't mean it's going to be sunshine and rainbows. Which is why I swing trade AITX, but I'm not holding it long term until it proves to me that it's going to hold a bottom more than anything. Companies often carry out reverse stock split to boost the stock's price by reducing the number of outstanding shares. The proposed changes to Nasdaq's listing standards are subject to approval by the SEC, so we'll see how that works out moving forward. But it's something to take into consideration. It is going to be important for AITX, especially because they're going to be uplisting in 2026. And if with these new rules, if that baby goes under $1, we're going to see it go right back to where it was. So that's assuming they reverse split and don't do a reverse merger. If they do a reverse merger, then I'm assuming it's a different story. That's, of course, assuming there's no new rules in the coming years as well. But again, the stricter delisting rules, it's for the sake of investors. Because I hate to say it, but a lot of investors believe, oh, my penny stock's going to go to a higher exchange. This is it. We're going to be rich. We're going to go to the moon, sunshine, and rainbows. But that's not the truth. That is far from it. That is not how it works. Unfortunately, it's a gamble. It's a penny stock for a reason, and when it does uplist, it better uplist with strength, or we're gonna see it come down. And just as an example, just to show you an example, I'm just gonna show you an example here real quick. QIND, QIND. It uplisted through via reverse merger, and it did not make shareholders rich, as you can see right here. ASNS, the acquiring company, it did not make its shareholders rich either. It did not go to $10 or $100 or any ridiculous share price. It did go from 44 cents to $5 almost, so a nice 10x for the people who bought ASNS, not for the people who were in QIND, right? So if AITX uplist via reverse merger, you would want to buy the stock acquiring. I mean, the stock that it's merging with. I shouldn't say acquiring. The stock that it's merging with, not AITX. Clearly, that's what we've been shown here, and this is why I mentioned so many times in the past. Keep an eye on ILIS's uplist. Keep an eye on AITX in the future as well. But ILIS's uplist, QIND's uplist, their subsidiary uplist will be important to keep an eye on, because if they can't even make their shareholders rich through an uplist, whether it's via reverse split or reverse merger, then what chance does any other penny stock have? And I know a lot of people love to believe, oh, my stock is special. Really? Your stock is special? Your stock with a company that has negative net working capital has to keep diluting 333 million every month on average. ILIS does not dilute that much, nor does its subsidiary. And even then, with even ILIS has better financials and a much better balance sheet. And despite all that, it was not able to make its shareholders rich. A lot of people buy when they hear that a penny stock is uplisting. I don't know why that is. I don't know why people get excited. I guess they think, oh my God, uplist, we're going to go to the moon. But for me, when I hear a penny stock is uplisting, I'm like, oh boy, a lot of people are about to hold a fat bag because they think it's going to go to dollars and then $10 and it's just going to go to the moon. And that optimism is what ends up screwing people. because then they end up buying a penny stock that just keeps diluting them over and over again. So I believe this rule, if it is implemented, I think it's better in the long run. If a penny stock if it's going to reverse split and not hold up above $1, might as well get it out of there. It does not deserve to be on Nasdaq. And I'm not saying that's what Aitx is going to do. What I am saying is it is possible. Let's not pretend like it isn't. There's two sides of the coin here. There's the risk and the reward. If it works out, AITX bottoms out above $1 ideally, and we just go from there. The worst thing that can happen, and I've said this before, is AITX uplists and then comes down under $1, and they'll be delisted rather quickly with these new rules. And if they look, we still got 2 years to go, or a year and a half. So within the next year and a half, we could get some more rules as well for investor protection purposes, of course. But that's how it is, right? This is they set the rules and we just play the game. But from a swing trader's point of view, as long as it holds a bottom after an uplift, we'll be fine. If it doesn't, it'll go to the lower exchanges, and we'll just wait for the bottom wherever that may be. But it can destroy shareholders. This cycle of dilution and reverse splitting, it's destroyed so many people, and that's why they're looking to add these rules. So, and making things more strict, and we could see even stricter rules down the line as well. So uh, yeah, the very important news for any penny stock that's gonna uplist in the next couple of years. And keep an eye on that. I'll let you guys know what happens with whether these rules are implemented or not. That's it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.